Hello everyone, and welcome back to LMX. Today we're diving into one of the most fascinating political comparisons of our time, Julius Malema versus Donald Trump. Two leaders from very different parts of the world, yet both with a populist fire that has stirred passionate debates. In this video, we'll compare their leadership styles, their policy choices, and most importantly, what each believes is best for the country. So let's get started. First, let's set the stage with some background. Julius Malema, the charismatic and often controversial leader of South Africa's economic freedom fighters, has made headlines for his radical proposals. From advocating for the nationalization of mines and banks to pushing for land expropriation without compensation, Malema's rhetoric is aimed at addressing historical inequalities in South Africa. On the other hand, we have Donald Trump, the 45th President of the United States. Coming from a business background with no prior political experience, Trump's rise was built on a promise to put America first. His policies focused on tax cuts, deregulation, and a strict approach to immigration, all under a banner of revitalizing American prosperity. Despite these different origins, both leaders position themselves as champions of the people, railing against the established elite. One of the most striking similarities between Malema and Trump is their use of populist rhetoric. Both have mastered the art of speaking directly to frustrated citizens who feel left behind by traditional politics. They portray themselves as outsiders, ready to dismantle a system that, in their view, has failed the common people. They also share a penchant for bold, sometimes inflammatory language. Whether it's through fiery speeches or potent social media messages, their communication styles are designed to energize their supporters and challenge the status quo. This direct, sometimes polarizing style has been key to their appeal, even if it also attracts intense criticism. However, when you peel back the layers, their ideological foundations are worlds apart. Donald Trump's vision is rooted in right-wing nationalism and free market economics. His administration's landmark achievement, the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017, was designed to stimulate economic growth through deregulation and lower taxes, particularly benefiting American businesses and arguably wealthier citizens. Contrast that with Julius Malema's approach. His platform is built on radical economic transformation. He advocates for the nationalization of key industries, aggressive land reform policies, and a more interventionist state designed to redistribute wealth and correct centuries of economic imbalance. While both claim to fight for the people, their solutions are almost opposites. Let's delve a bit deeper into what Trump actually accomplished while in office. A major piece of legislation was the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017. This law cut corporate taxes and aimed to boost investment and job creation. Supporters argue it revitalized parts of the United States economy, though critics point to a growing national deficit and increased income inequality. Beyond tax reform, Trump's administration was known for its aggressive deregulation, especially in environmental protections, on the premise that reducing red tape would help American businesses thrive. His policies on immigration, including travel bans and the push for a border wall, were justified as measures to ensure national security and protect American jobs. These actions were polarizing. They energized his base but also led to widespread protests and legal challenges. Now imagine for a moment that Julius Malema were to assume the presidency. Based on his past statements and policy proposals, here's what we might expect from a Malema administration. First, nationalization of industries. Malema has repeatedly called for the nationalization of mines and banks. He believes that critical sectors of the economy should be controlled by the state so that the benefits trickle down to the people rather than lining the pockets of private interests. Second, land expropriation without compensation. A cornerstone of his platform is the radical redistribution of land. To address historical injustices, Malema supports expropriating land from those who hold it as a legacy of past inequalities without compensation, and redistributing it to historically disadvantaged communities. And third, enhanced social programs. With a focus on correcting economic disparities, his policies would likely include increased spending on healthcare, education, and housing. This would be funded by restructuring the tax system to ensure wealth is more evenly distributed. The goal of these proposals is clear: to radically overhaul an economic system that, in Malema's view, has long benefited the few at the expense of the many. Critics, however, caution that such sweeping changes could disrupt the economy, scare off investors, and lead to unintended consequences. So, do these leaders really have the same end goal? In many ways, both Trump and Malema believe they are working for the best interests of their nations, but they have very different ideas about what at best means. Trump's vision. Trump's policies focus on a market-driven approach, believing that reducing government intervention, cutting taxes, and securing borders will stimulate economic growth, create jobs, and ultimately lead to a stronger, more independent nation. His approach is all about leveraging America's strengths on the global stage while protecting its economic interests. Malema's vision. Malema's strategy, conversely, is built on the idea that systemic change is necessary to correct historical wrongs. His proposals for nationalization and radical redistribution aim to level the playing field and ensure that wealth and resources benefit the broader population. In his view, a state that actively intervenes in the economy is the only way to achieve true social justice. Both leaders assert that their policies are what's best for their country, yet they present two fundamentally different paths. One emphasizes market freedom and deregulation, while the other calls for a significant rebalancing of economic power through state intervention. Both approaches carry significant potential upsides and downsides. Trump's policies. The deregulation and tax cuts might lead to immediate economic boosts and job creation. However, they have also been criticized for exacerbating income inequality and potentially undermining long-term fiscal stability. Supporters see these moves as a way to energize an economy, while critics warn of mounting deficits and environmental harm. Malema's proposals. On paper, radical redistribution and nationalization might promise to reduce long-standing inequalities and empower disenfranchised communities. Yet, the risks include potential economic instability, reduced investor confidence, and the challenge of implementing such profound changes without creating new forms of economic disruption. Ultimately, the debate reflects broader ideological questions. Should a country lean into free market mechanisms and deregulation, or should it embrace state-led reforms to address deep-seated social inequities? Both perspectives have their merits and their risks, and the answer often depends on the unique historical and economic context of each nation. As we wrap up, it's clear that both Julius Malema and Donald Trump are emblematic of a larger global trend. Leaders who claim to represent the real people and who challenge the established order in their own distinctive ways. Whether it's Trump's focus on deregulation and national security, or Malema's calls for radical economic transformation, both approaches invite us to ask, what truly is best for a nation? Now, I'd love to hear from you. Do you think a market-driven approach like Trump's is the best path forward? Or do you see merit in the radical redistributive policies that Malema advocates? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your perspective is important to the conversation. If you enjoyed this analysis, please hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives, and ring the bell icon so you never miss an update from LMX. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.